today we're not on my sofa. We're outside because I wanted to. Today is the 18th episode of my knitting podcast, and today I have 3 whips and I have 1 acquisition for you. I don't have any finished objects, but I do have 3 quite exciting whips. Let's start with the one that you're probably the most familiar with if you watched any of my latest knitting podcast episodes. This is the Amy top by Mochi knits, and it's on 3.5mm needles in Isager trio. So this is not cotton linen, it's cotton, viscose and linen or flax. Someone is coming. No, they're walking away. That's good. So what I have done is finished basically all of it, but I haven't bound off because I wanted to try my best. So I did a mid-project block, nearly finished project block, to see if I liked the length. I wore it to a friend's birthday party. I did like it, the length, but I didn't like that the collar flips up because the bind off is too tight. So I'm going to have to redo that. I'll just unpick the last 2 rows and reknit it with a stretchier bind off, maybe go up a needle size because I would like it to be definitely flat. This is very much curling and I don't want that. So this I foresee myself finishing with in the near future. The armholes are bound off with a tubular bind off. The bottom is probably just going to be a simple, standard bind off where you knit one, lift one over, knit one, lift one over. And because that's always going to be tucked into whatever I'm wearing because I am a millennial after all. And the collar I'm going to have to do some faffing around with to get it to lie flat. And then this is ready because I weaving all my ends and I'm really excited to wear this for the summer because this looked very polished. It looked quite chic. The detailing on this with the seam down the shoulder that travels all the way behind the collar and around to the other shoulder, the 1x1 rib for the armholes, the shaping, the plaque for the middle that is then sort of overlapping at the bottom. It just looks very chic. And the fabric is also quite flowy. It has a drape to it. It's sheeny but not shiny because the viscose in it has this sort of subtle sheen in it, which is a really lovely fabric. So that is something I'm very happy about. Then I have another current whip. This is a baseball cap, or it's going to be a baseball cap. And I have worked it up with seams with slipped stitches. I'm going to do another prototype because this is a self-started pattern, but I'm looking to publish as a pattern for anyone else to use. I'm going to try the twisted stitches for the columns so that I have that seam line that a traditional sewn baseball cap would have. I have experimented with a few different versions of decreases for the front seam, and I'm going to have long ties in the back to tie into a really big bow because that's sort of the statement that I want this baseball cap to have. So for this, as of right now, it looks a little something like this. It looks like I'm in ABBA, and that will check out because I am Swedish, but I am a few decades too young for that. But I think it's going to be good. I'm knitting it in a cotton, so it doesn't have that much of a stretch to it because I want it to be structurally sound accessory without the help of the stretch of a wool. So I'm going to knit another prototype for this. I'm going to be experimenting a bit with the brim because I want it to be like a proper shading brim. I don't want it to be just like an aesthetic or cosmetic brim. I want it to be a useful brim. I want this to actually be a working, useful baseball cap. I'm working this on 3mm needles and I'm using just a cotton yarn that I bought at Søstrene Grene, which is like a crafty supply, home decor aesthetic store came from Scandinavia. I don't know if they're Norwegian or Danish, but we have them everywhere, and they have some yarn, and I bought that yarn because I didn't have access to a proper yarn store where I wanted to buy this yarn. But they have this gorgeous dark blue, which I think is very blueberry coded, and I'm a big fan of blueberries, so I don't hate this. So baseball cap in the making. I also wonder if I can make this happen before the end of June. Can I finish, write, and publish this pattern before the 30th of June? Because that would mean that I can cross off a tile in my bingo card, which would be great. Because I don't know how much I've actually managed on that bingo card in the last 3 months. I started off the year quite strong, and then I've sort of not done anything. So writing a pattern, publishing it is something that I have on my goal list for 2026, and keep an eye out because hopefully I'm going to have it published by the end of June. Next up we have an acquisition / work in progress, or a purchase. I don't want to call it acquisition because I bought this. I purchased with my own money, so I haven't just magically acquired something. But I bought, hang on, this side with the yellow as well. Yeah, there it is. I bought Drops Belle in these 4 colours. There's so much forest debris on this yarn right now after a little trek. But I bought it in 4 colorways. This is 04 Dandelion, 01 White, 32 Peppermint, and 38 Deep Moss Green. And with these, I am knitting my second ever PetiteKnit pattern, which is the Olga sweater. I wanted a striped sweater, and more specifically, I wanted it with a lemon print. Because how summery is that? I looked at my wardrobe and I realized that I don't have any long sleeve knit shirts that I can chuck on in these, mid-temperature months or evenings or early mornings. I don't have anything that's appropriate to wear at work during the summer months that I've knitted myself. And I honestly want to wear something that I have made myself every day. So I give it. The construction for this is you start with 1 long row and then you knit German short rows to increase for this trapezoid shoulder shape. Then you knit until you're ready to join them around. Then you flip it over, you knit the front pieces, you join for the front after you cast on for the neck opening, and then you knit until you're the same length as for the back, and then you join in the round and you knit in the round, switching colours every 4 stripes. It features set-in sleeves, which also decreases slightly. I think I picked up according to the pickup rate that you're supposed to have, but I think I ended up having 1 or 2 stitches too few on each shoulder, so I just decreased until I had the correct number of stitches at the end. And I have knit both of the sleeves. Oh no, loud friend. I have knit until I have the same amount of stitches or rows and stripes on both sleeves, but I haven't done the finishings yet because this yarn I have swatched, but I know that with weight, because this is a cotton, viscose and linen mix, it's quite heavy, so it's going to stretch. So I'll do a mid-project blog to see how much this actually stretches lengthwise, and then I'll be ready to do an educated guess on how much more I need. If any, I might be ready to go to cuffs immediately now, but I won't know that until I have blocked it. Now, the plan for this is to, on the front, duplicate stitch a lemon, because I love a lemon. The colour scheme I'm wearing today is quite lemony as well, and I have these 2 muted lemony colours. I don't know, however, if I want to duplicate stitch before or after I do the mid-project block. Because if I do before, I'm worried that the stitches are going to be too tight after I've blocked it. And if I do it afterwards, I think that's my spontaneous idea is that it's better to do it after I blocked it, because then the stitches will be relaxed and I can follow the size of the relaxed stitches instead of following the size of the non-relaxed stitches, and potentially end up having a puckered too tight stitch. But if you have done duplicate stitching with a cloth, I will continue, because I don't know how to approach this and how the result is going to be, how the fabric is going to behave. So if you have any knowledge about this, please let me know. I think I'm going to ask Reddit as well to see what they have to say. And when I get back to you in 2 weeks, I hopefully have a lemon, or at least a start to a lemon. I messed up my German short rows. Well, I don't know if I messed it up, but I didn't follow the instructions because I knew how to do them on one side, and I sort of winged it. I wung it on the other side, and it might block out, it might not, it might look a bit goofy, but what happens on the back of my back is none of my business. That is for other people to bother about. It's what I'm doing. It's fine. My hair is going to cover it anyway, right? So that's where we stand with this sweater. I'm going to do the collar to see how it cinches in. Then I'm going to do a flip project block to relax the fibers. Then I'm going to duplicate stitch a lemon. And I wonder if I might have some leftovers, because I want to make another lemon shirt. I'm just on such a lemon roll at the moment. I mean, I have been for the last few years. Are there loud children in the background? So I would like to do a colour blocked lemon sleeveless shirt, and I really like this the fabric that this gives. It's dense enough to be appropriate. It covers me, but it's not hot enough to suffocate me, even though it's a cloth fibre. So I think I would like to make a colour blocked version. I want one sweater with a really big lemon, like a comically big lemon. So I wonder if it's better to do the colour block sleeveless shirt with a big lemon, and for this just a small, like a life-size lemon on one of the, like the top, which is in the middle. That could be really cute as well. I'll have to think about it a bit, but that is for me to figure out once I get that far. I think I'll have some leftovers for these two colours, so I think that's going to be my colour block colours, or at least part of them, and this is going to be my lemon for the colour block lemon. So I have so many plans. So where are we? I have a nearly finished Amy top that just needs me to rework the collar, the last 2 rows of the collar and the bind off, and to bind off the bottom hem. Then that's completely finished because I sewn in all of the ends for that. Then I have the baseball cap that I do want to have finished by the 30th of June, and I want it to be a pattern, so I'm going to have to spend some time writing and editing that and releasing it. That's going to be very exciting. And then I have this, which I want to have finished because I want to wear it. So I think I could finish this with all of the finishings except the lemon, and do the lemon later on when I have the time. Because if I have a finished sweater that's wearable, that just doesn't have that little last detail yet, it's still usable. Because I don't want to have stuff on my needles for ages and ages and ages and not be able to wear them, because what's the point in that? I have an idea, I want to execute it because I want to wear the piece. And if I just continually never finish stuff, then I'm not going to have stuff to wear, even though they're nearly finished. So that is it for my rambling little podcast episode in the nature. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, this little break from the norm. Let's see what we do in 2 weeks, if I'm outside or if I'm inside, if I'm on a beach, if I'm in a tree, or if I'm just on my sofa as usual. But I enjoyed this little experiment, and I hope you did too. So if you liked the video, please do like it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel so you see what happens with these patterns and ideas and projects, because I think this is really fun and I hope you have fun watching my stuff too. So if you have any comments or tips for me about the duplicate stitching, the timing of it, or any good resources for it, please let me know. I've done some duplicate stitching before and I think I'm fairly confident about how to do it, but if you have any great revelations, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you in my next one or whenever I post that one. I mean, probably in a week, right? Because that's what I do, weekly fitting videos. Take care of yourself. Bye.